Hi. I'm doing this because it scares the shit out of me. Um, Particularly this subject, not because so much of the difficulty of the subject, but the whole reason that I'm thinking about it today is because I had kind of a little back and forth with a fella online that we had both watched the same YouTube video. And so uh, he kind of he came at me pretty hard. He didn't yell or anything, but kind of I well I guess he kind of accused me of channeling Satan, um, which at first I took great offense to because oh my God, no one wants to be accused of that. Uh, but I let all that go and I decided to take the perspective of the student, um, which was a big deal because at first glance I look at this guy and I see, oh my God, this religious zealot, I have nothing to learn from this guy. Um, and my ego even says, oh man, yeah, maybe he has something to learn from me. But the truth might be more accurately that we both have something to learn from each other. And so I suppose for fear of I don't want to make him feel like I'm trying to be contrary because he actually really did make me think of it a different way. However, I still don't do doctrine well, and most of my awesome insights, although inspired by the outside world in a lot of ways, uh, people like Gandhi tell you who to look up to, and the crackheads down the road teach you what you don't want to be, but also knowing that both of those things are already inside of you. And that's been a huge deal for me. It's like a deeper, it's not forgiveness, it's deeper than that. It's almost like saying, accepting that we're all God, in a way. So, anyway, I'm down this whole path because I hit my own rock bottom a couple months ago with stress, and I gotta find a new way to live. So that is what I'm doing. I'm trying to kill off the old self and my old ego and start completely fresh and do things that terrify the shit out of me, not run away. And so this is it. I want to talk about forgiveness a little bit. I've always thought about the concept of forgiveness. It's a big deal, especially in Christianity. It's a pure concept, and I've given it a lot of thought over the years because people do wrong to you, and it really hurts. And there's always that famous expression about it, you forgive to take the hook out of your own heart, not to take the hook out of their heart, which I find 100% true. And then with that hook being removed, you can move forward in love, and it doesn't affect or cloud like your actions toward the universe, so that you're not suddenly being that person that did that bad thing, creating this cycle. So like I say, I've always, not easily, but I've embraced the concept wholeheartedly, as much as I could understand it. Well, when I went through all this kind of, I guess I'd call it the rock bottom phase here, I realized that I was being way too hard on myself, and that I needed to really let that go, and that, if God forgives, we should forgive, and everybody's forgiven, and we all start fresh every day, every minute, every second. And I really like that. And so I had finally been able to turn that concept of forgiveness kind of in on myself, and then I got a little bound up in it actually, because what happened next was I decided that God doesn't need to forgive because God's not judging us in the first place. And Now, who am I to speak on the mind of God? But in terms of humans, because what I tend to do is think, oh, what is God doing? And I'll try to emulate that. But as a human, I don't think it's quite that simple. So even if by some, even if God really isn't judging us, and there is no hell, and there's only heaven after this, and that's it, or whatever. uh, we still have to go through the process ourselves, I think, and that being human is that process that you can't actually, because I have this tendency to just want to rise like up above everything, like, oh well, that's a problem, let's just go rise above that, rise above that, rise above that, and then in the end I think you escape some like crucial part of your humanity, which is to live out that process of forgiveness. So I think I'm going to actually retract my previous insane statement. As far as it got me, it did get me quite far through my own self-forgiveness process, but I found that before I was leaning forward, now I'm doing a back bend, and what I need to do is come to this comfortable standing rest, and that is that we should forgive, and that it's that simple, and that part of what really kind of drove a stake through me at first, reading the comment, was that, oh no, I'm losing my thought. I got too nervous. It was the word forgiveness itself kind of rankles me in the same way that being called a sinner does. That I've always kind of held firm to this idea that that we were not born with original sin, that we were born pure, and that all of the events of our life and thoughts and everything have messed us up since. That no, I'm not sure if that's entirely true either. I mean, we are born human, so I think it's not the concept behind the word sinner that bothers me, because I think I could accept if I stand aside from like what that word means to me, then I can actually embrace that I'm a sinner, and that I'm like this imperfect being constantly trying to learn. And I think the word forgiveness is the same for me. That I would almost rather call it like infinite mercy, because those words don't carry the same pointing finger as the word forgiveness. But the concept is the same. It matters not. And I really, I've learned a huge lesson today, that I have to stand aside from the concepts, what those words mean and all that stuff, and just look at the higher picture of it, and really accept it for what it is, and accept that this concept that's been in human life for ages and ages and ages is a real concept that we should all contemplate and practice. It's not like an imaginary thing that we can somehow transcend. The only way we transcend it is to learn it. So, thank you.